Welcome to the Shortwave Radio channel, and here in our series on megahertz by megahertz. What can you hear? We talk about what's inside 16 to 17 megahertz. In that 1000 kilohertz chunk, well, it's mostly utilities of all sorts. In here, you will have many utilities that are actually in broadcasting all sorts of things in there. It is a big chunk of it is dedicated to marine or maritime utilities. So you might hear all sorts of things, including Navtex, voice weather broadcasts. You'll hear utilities of all sorts mixed in here. Digital modes of all sorts, encrypted and not. You will, of course, have all sorts of unusual broadcasts. It's one of those bands that I would say I can't really clearly say that I've heard something that I can mention to you officially, but I've heard things in there regularly, and it is one of the bands that is quite active with all sorts of utility stuff, mostly daytime, but check it out. It's one of those places where I remember one of the broadcasts that I've heard here was a marine weather Navtex transmission, I believe, out of New Zealand one evening. So, it gives you an idea that there's a lot of stuff in there. I've heard a lot of voice communications of all sorts of things in here. Even number stations that are scattered through here, I believe. I'm not sure. I think Cuba is does have one of its frequencies in here for its number station HM01. I think 16180 or something like that. I'm trying to remember. So you see here 16121. There's a radio teletype signal that is on that frequency, possibly encrypted. I never actually tried to decode it. So check it out. It's really just utility. No international broadcast band in here or anything. And a lot of it, and a big chunk of it, is dedicated to maritime type communications. So most of these communications you'll listen to using upper sideband mode, and of course check it out. You never know what you can hear on this range. It's not one that I tune very often, but I tune it, and I have heard some signals in there for sure. If you enjoy our videos, please subscribe, give us thumbs up, and hope you enjoyed this look at Shortwave Spectrum, megahertz by megahertz.